I came up with the 3 triggers that tell you when a depreciation schedule is worthwhile.
Did you patent
the first, beg your pardon?
Did you patent it?
No, I haven't yet. I'll have to talk to my IP lawyer. I originally came up with it for property managers, right, who want to give property investors good advice, but feel sort of like a little bit unsure about, talking about something that's not their area of expertise. But I think it works for anybody. So the 3 triggers are: if the property is built or bought brand new. That's the most obvious one. I think everyone knows it's a brand new property. There's going to be great depreciation. The reason why is because you'll be able to claim the original building structure as an undeducted asset. So it's got 100% of its value, right? So we estimate the construction cost as at the date that it was built, and then you'll get 40 years worth of deductions based on that. So it's brand new. The second one, it's built after the cut-off date for depreciation claims on the original building structure. Now, that's a bit of a mouthful, doesn't fit really great on an Instagram card. But what is important to understand is that in depreciation, there's kind of like 2 categories, or 2 main buckets, I like to call them. One is the plant and equipment items, and they're kind of like the loose-fitting assets, things like carpets and blinds and ovens and cooktops. The other component is the structure. So that's going to be things like timber, like concrete, like gyprock, where most of the value will sit. So the cutoff date to be able to claim that structure is the 16th of September 1987. Don't even try and remember that exact date. Just think 87, right? So if it's built after 87, automatically worthwhile, right? Because the structure will qualify. So if the property was built in, say, 1988 for $100,000, at 2.5%, you're getting $2,500 a year worth of deductions, and that's really enough to pay for the report, probably in the first year, and you're getting 40 years worth of deductions. So, gosh, this is getting long-winded, but we're almost at the end. It's brand new, or it's built after 87. The third trigger is that it doesn't match 1 or 2. It's not brand new. It's not built after 87. So let's say it's a property built in the 60s, and we're talking specifically resi in this example. If it's built in the 60s, the original structure won't qualify, and you won't be able to claim the plant and equipment items. But what we're looking for is renovations or improvements. So if it's had a new kitchen or a bathroom or an extension, what we're able to do as quantity surveyors is estimate the value of those works, either done by the previous owner or done by yourself. And the first time we analysed this was pre-COVID. Construction costs were a lot cheaper pre-COVID. And we found that 69.9% of properties built prior to 1987 had been renovated to an average value of $39,500. And that's about the break-even point for a depreciation schedule being worthwhile. So another way of putting that is anything built prior to the cutoff date, we're finding almost 2/3 of them being worthwhile from a depreciation point of view. So it certainly does happen, Jared, that there will be properties that are too old, that there's not enough value to get a report done. We'll do free estimates, and if we don't think the property is going to stack, then we won't recommend it. So those, I think, are the 3 easiest ways to think about it. Is it brand new? Is it post-87? But if it's pre-87, has it been renovated? And we kind of want to see about 40 or 50 grand worth of renos.
Yeah, I love it. So when you mean is it brand new, so that's one, and then another one is if it's post-87, and then, yeah, okay. And so you gave a bit of an example around a 100K property, and it was 2.5% sort of like, or 100K worth of claimable assets. So was it 2.5% or 2%?
Yeah. So the building structure will depreciate at 2.5% of its value each financial year for 40 years from the date of construction. So a good pickup there. So technically, if it was built for $100,000, we would have to deduct the plant and equipment items, which might be worth $10,000, say. So then you're only looking at $90,000 remaining at 2.5%, which is way beyond my mathematical capability, but it's still going to be a worthwhile report.
Yeah. And plant and equipment is, like you said before, like ovens and air conditioners and stuff like that. Got you.
Yeah, hot water systems, door closers, ceiling fans, all of those types of things.
Yeah, cool. So if That's 100K. So say somebody's got a property worth like 500K. The building might not actually, you got the land value and then you got the building value, I guess. So it's based off the building value minus plant and equipment. Is that right?
Well, yeah, that is a way to look at it. But I would caution people to think about market value as having much bearing on the tax depreciation value. And obviously Sam's in the right place for this conversation as a valuer. But market value and depreciable value don't always line up. In fact, we've done a number of reports where the total deductions were actually worth more than what the person paid for it, because it might not have been an arm's length transaction, or typically it will happen in commercial property where the whole land footprint can be building, and things can be over-capitalised as well. I also did an estimate for a house in one of the blue chip suburbs of Sydney. This is probably about 2017. Someone paid $8 million for a property, and we actually had to say, look, there's actually no depreciation deductions available in this, because it was some weird kind of abandoned mansion that hadn't had anything done to it since the 60s, like a bit of an odd situation. And if you think about the difference between, say, market value and depreciable value, another good example is, let's say you got two units. One is overlooking Sydney Harbour, and then the other one's on the other side of the building and it's looking at a car park. The market value is going to be much higher because of that view, but from a depreciation point of view, there's no construction cost in land or in views, right? So it makes zero difference. So I think, it's important to think about the difference between market value and actual depreciable value.